Next, let's take a look at a journey to the West. This is a photograph of Mount Qingliang. His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok is sitting on that rock. The one beside him seems to be Khenpo Depa in this shot. I have another photo that is much clearer, but I forgot to bring it just now. It might be better to show that one later. I see His Holiness sitting there. Where was it? Was it? Yes. His Holiness. Back in 2017, some Khenmos and several staff members went there together. When we visited, our final stop was also the Qingliang Stone. Originally, when His Holiness went to Mount Wutai, the last stop was the Qingliang Stone, and we were there with him. It was a wonderful time, wasn't it? Next is the second site. Is that it? Another place where we spent time was the Shanzai Cave, the cave of Sudhana, at the lower area of the East Terrace. It was where youthful Sudhana generated supreme bodhicitta and made the vast aspiration to accomplish oceans of virtuous actions in front of Manjushri. It is the place where the king of aspiration prayers was made. That photo of His Holiness was taken inside the Shanzai Cave. Look, the date was May 7th, 1987. At that time, His Holiness was in retreat here, and having seen Manjushri, he composed and sang a spiritual song. When we chanted prayers to make aspirations, there were over 600 Han Chinese lay Buddhists present. There might have been some Mongolians as well. The monk in charge of Shanzai Cave back then was Mongolian. He also appears in Khenpo Depa's biography. He was a very good monk, though he had a bit of a temper at times. He would often scold the tourists. There were over 600 of us, also there to make aspirations, most of whom had a direct vision of Manjushri in the sky, while some saw other appearances, such as his lion. At the time, we didn't pay much attention. We were focused on making aspirations. I forgot to tell everyone to look up into the sky. Honestly, we should have taken a look. I'm sure many people saw it. So many people from our side went there. Looking back now, it seems very meaningful. Back in 2017, it happened to be the 30th anniversary, so it was a way of dedicating the merit. It was exactly 30 years in 2017. By 2027, it will be 40 years, and by 2037, it will be 50 years. The third place was the Narayana Cave near the top area of the East Terrace. It is also known as the Wutai Cave. This place is currently cordoned off, as it is considered a bit dangerous for tourists. There used to be a statue of His Holiness there, but it was later removed. Visiting the Narayana Cave is quite difficult now, but indeed it is prophesied in the Flower Adornment Sutra that from the beginning of this eon until the end, Manjushri and his 10,000 followers have constantly resided here. During my stay in the Narayana Cave, through the power of Manjushri's blessing that entered into my mind, this peaceful Manjushri Terma flowed naturally out, which I then put into writing. All those who practice this teaching will effortlessly give rise to transcendental spiritual experience and realization, and even develop exceptional faith and compassion. Regarding this peaceful Manjushri Terma, His Holiness previously taught it in Tibetan areas. It was originally transcribed by Tulku Tenzin, and we have translated it. The version of Peaceful Manjushri taught in the US was taught 5 times in total. The final teaching was given at Jetsunma Ahkon Lhamo's center, which we will discuss later. We have already covered this part. It can be considered the Western teaching of Peaceful Manjushri. There is also a version taught in Singapore. Regarding the Singapore teaching, this past winter, I shouldn't say this winter, but last winter, how should I put it? I have already put it into writing. Perhaps we will look at it in the future, because His Holiness taught Peaceful Manjushri in 3 different locations. Each teaching was slightly different, so they each carry unique connections and blessings. We taught it once last year, and once before that as well. There is another teaching from Singapore in Southeast Asia. We call this Moon in Water. In those sessions, the Peaceful Manjushri teachings have been compiled, including the translation. There is also the natural freedom of the nature of mind. That one is halfway through and not yet finished. If I'm still around, I'll see if I can finish it this year. At the very least, it will give rise to exceptional faith and compassion. The blessing of this teaching is obvious, and that is why it is widely propagated throughout the land of snows. In 1990, when I visited India, I offered without reservation the empowerment, practice manuals, and instructions of this Terma to many knowledgeable scholars and accomplished practitioners. By virtue of this act, this teaching became even more popular than before and spread far and wide in India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Han regions. Indeed, for all of us, this teaching is, since I taught it to everyone last year. His Holiness gave about 4 lectures back then, and we have basically reviewed them with you. Anyway, the content taught by His Holiness is right here. Whether you realize it or not depends on yourself. This year, through the power of our karmic connection and virtuous aspirations in the past, when I came to the US originally, I didn't plan to give the empowerment of this teaching, but due to their repeated supplication, plus the maturation of my own aspiration and the timing, I imparted the empowerment and teaching of this Terma at Nechung. Everyone was suffused with devotion and reverence, leaving me with the impression that they would fully embrace and uphold this practice. Afterward, I visited Colorado, places like the Rockies, while at the Colorado Center. As I was giving the assembly this empowerment, I recalled the prophecy about this Terma that came to me spontaneously, so I read it to the audience. What did it say? The prophecy says that although this teaching originates in the East, it will flourish and benefit beings extensively in the West. Hearing this, the people who were present aroused extreme great faith, and all promised to put this Terma into actual practice, so their faith can be considered as confident faith. In fact, we saw later, as I received updates from some of them, that many are still practicing it today. Sometimes Westerners are very true to their word. They are practicing diligently and continue to do so, particularly in California, which was later in the Napa Valley area. I also imparted the empowerment and practice manual of this Terma. It was around July 16th, I believe, but the teaching then was quite brief. I mainly focused on the Chetsun Nyingtig all the Dharma masters there possess, the noble qualities described in Buddhism. As they received this teaching, by the power of their connection to it, many of their disciples generated confident, irreversible faith, and those with sharp faculties increased their devotion immensely. This describes the later connection in the Napa Valley. His Holiness was here. In fact, regarding the teachings of His Holiness, while some adjustments are needed for transcription, generally speaking, he spoke directly without repetition, describing everything in such a calm and effortless way. We might all feel that if one of our Dharma friends were to go there, they would either keep repeating themselves or find themselves unable to explain any of the principles. That could well happen. Therefore, regarding this teaching, it is not enough for you to merely have eager faith in it. You must cultivate confident faith. This kind of faith comes from the special blessings from its words and its meaning. Otherwise, faith generated just by hearing another's simple description will easily get lost. It may arise today, but will probably disappear tomorrow. In addition, your heartfelt respect for me can also be attributed to confident faith. Why do I say so? If you compare me with your guru, here His Holiness specially offered praise to Jetsunma Ahkon Lhamo, stating that compared to your guru, in terms of her reputation, status, or inner qualities, she surpasses me more than 100 or 1,000 times. But this time, she has followed behind me, attending to me with respect like the most humble servant. The Buddha once said in his scripture, we should respect all beings, thinking of ourselves as a bull with broken horns. To have such respect is also very important in Buddhism, so she must have sincere faith in my teaching, otherwise she would not be able to behave like this. Perhaps some might wonder if it was for show, but that seems unlikely. You can see it in the previous photographs. Wasn't Jetsunma Ahkon Lhamo standing before His Holiness with her hands joined so respectfully? The person in the black top and floral skirt, back then she changed her outfit every day, sometimes one in the morning and another in the afternoon. Not only her, among the 5 people who accompanied me at this time, Medron and Mumtso are both my family members, and they naturally have inconceivable devotion for me. There is also Khenpo Namdrol, Oh, how should I say my own name? It feels a bit awkward to say it myself. Khenpo Sodargye and Ngodrup Dorje. People say some people really enjoy mentioning their own names, but for me, it's quite difficult to say my own name. I notice some often do so by introducing themselves during their speeches. That's a bit hard for me. Khenpo Namdrol, Khenpo Sodargye, and Ngodrup Dorje took the role of my attendants during my trip to India 2 years ago. Over 6 months they worked for me and arranged everything without tiring. This year, here in the US, they take care of me day and night without feeling even a little fatigued. While I am like a Chakravartin, they serve me humbly like beggars. This demonstrates their irreversible faith. His Holiness also mentioned this. How do you know that your faith and devotion to the Guru is irreversible? You can get some idea from history. In the past, when Buddha Shakyamuni was alive, there was a great king called Prasenajit. After he developed irreversible faith in the Buddha, it was not only toward the Buddha himself. He constantly prostrated to the Buddha's followers, untying his hair knot and putting his hair on the ground as a carpet. One day he met many vagrants. Some accounts say they were beggars, others say they were non-Buddhist wanderers. The king mistook them for the Buddha's followers, so he paid homage to them and put his long hair down on the ground. The locals ridiculed him for doing such a thing. Because of this, he went to the Buddha and made a request. Please allow me to offer special clothes to your Shravakas, which will easily distinguish them from vagrants. This was the origin of monastics' robes. It was through such a connection. It is also explained this way in some Vinaya texts. The Buddha consented, and that is how the 3 Dharma robes for monastics came into being. In ancient India, heartfelt respect and devotion to the Guru is a sign of possessing irreversible faith. This is an example from the precepts. In the land of Tibet, there was also such a king. In the past, there lived a Dharma king named Tri Ralpachen. He was truly extraordinary, a great king who ruled a vast territory. He wore very long hair, and whenever the sangha arrived, he would put his hair on the ground to let them walk on it. He venerated monastics greatly and was known as the Dharma king with hair knot. Like these kings, if you treat your guru with great reverence, it demonstrates that you possess irreversible faith.
Bandara Bandara